Tech for Senior, episode 59. It is May the 10th. You would think after 59 episodes, I'd get it right, eh? Oh, well, that's what video editing is all about, right? We made it to 100. We've got 100 in our Zoom meeting, and we've got a bunch over on our streaming service. So I want to thank everybody for coming today. As you know, we are a volunteer organization and we thrive off of your enthusiasm. And we have 100 enthusiastic people here today that come and want to listen to us, which is great. We also have a whole bunch of people over on our streaming service because we do stream this to YouTube. That is available as well. Now, the two shows are a little bit different. So on our show here on Zoom today, will be an hour long, and then we have a question and answer period after. Our show on the streaming service on YouTube will go for about 50 minutes, and then prior to the music segment by Ray, we'll be stopping the live stream to YouTube. So thank you for everyone for coming. Now, just to remind everybody that not only do we have this show that we run on Monday, but we have another show that we do on Thursday, which, excuse me, is called Tech for Senior Live. And that's where Bob, Hewie, and I get together and have a cup of coffee for the morning. And we have I guess it's my morning, it's your lunch hour, really. And we have a nice chat. Last week we had Jolyn Bowler on, which she was a delight, and we enjoyed. I think the three of us get tired of talking to ourselves all the time, so you guys got to come on Thursday morning and give us some questions and keep us going. This week, of course, we'll have Jim on. We were talking to Jim Gould, and he'll be on with us for talking on. I really want to ask Jim. Jim is the technical guy behind that very famous show on Sunday that we've discussed, and I want to talk to him about some of the technical aspects of the behind the scenes show that he produces, because he's got a lot of knowledge in that area. So if you are a producer of any sort of content, Thursday morning would be a good time to come and ask questions. We're gonna have a little chat, have a cup of coffee, and it should be great. Which also brings me to the issue of thank you, Detlef, who was helping me this week in finding out where we are on Thursday mornings. And I think I got it right now. So Bob and I are going to make a couple of changes. He had some suggestions earlier, but the links are all should work now. And when you click on the link, either on our newsletter or our webpage, it should take you to the streaming service where you can find us, because it's not easy. It's easier on Facebook because Facebook has it sort of all well organized. Just go to our Facebook page. And but for the YouTube side, it's hard to find. So you need those links and just click the links. But I think we've got that all organized now. So if you have any problems, let me know. Speaking of our Facebook page, if you want to find out all the current events that are happening, I just posted some cool stuff like the Apple Watch, all the latest stuff on the sugar monitoring, everything with the watch, the data release, and everything is now on our website, our Facebook feed. So you don't actually have to sign in. I was checking that this week. So if you don't have a Facebook account, you think it's going to do something terrible to you if you log into Facebook, then you don't actually have to log in. Our Facebook page is just a website. You can just go there and you can have a look at it. And we do post current, really timely stuff there every day. So that's and of course all these shows are taped, and we tape these, and we are of course now at episode 59, and we went back and I looked again, and the last was episode 7, 2020, and Hewie did a great thing, and I used this, and he talked about searching, and he talked about a program called Everything. I'll talk to Hewie in just a minute about that, but that was great. I use that all the time, and I talked about on episode 7 I talked about extensions and how to find your Chrome, what version of Chrome you're using. I think what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding a section in our Saturday newsletter where I put exactly what I've just been talking about, and I'll put the links there because all these shows are taped. They're all good to go back. The everything thing that Hewie talked about is great. I mean, we can use these for our clubs and so on and so forth as we move forward. So with further ado, I think I'll introduce our guests today. The first, of course, is my co-host, Hewie Poplock. How the heck are you doing, Hewie?
I am doing great. Beautiful day here in Florida, and I'm inside talking to everybody here, but it's good to be here.
Excellent, excellent. And Bob in New Mexico, what's happening there?
63 degrees this morning, and we're supposed to get into the low 80s. A lot nicer than in Florida, where it's going to get hot as all heck.
Ooh, okay. And of course, Ray's up in Utopia there, beautiful country. You've got pine trees and mountain scenery and all that sort of stuff. Is that that's nice weather up there now?
Yeah, it was all those things you mentioned were here this morning when I got up. Thank you very much. And our weather is almost like Bob's. It's about 62 outside now, and it may hit 80 today.
And I'm not sure. I think did Dewey step out?
He's back.
Oh, is he back? Oh, there you are. Hi. So how are you? How's things in Minnesota?
Well, pretty good. And I probably need to say I'm very pleased to be able to be here speaking to you because last Monday I missed the first TFS episode ever because I was in the hospital emergency room. I'll be telling you all about it next week. So I guess that's my topic. By the way, somebody requested in chat that you tell our viewers what time your Thursday morning coffee clutch is.
9 o'clock. Well, it's 9 o'clock Pacific time, right? 9 o'clock Pacific time.
Yeah, noon Eastern time.
Yeah, thanks a lot and I'm glad you're back, and we look forward to your segment next week. So there's a couple of other things I wanted to quickly mention as I think my time's just about up. Of course, Ellen Farnham, our angel. Oh man, she's just an angel. Is Ellen here? She's just done so well. So we do have our index to all of the episodes posted. I sent you the links in the Saturday newsletter. Look in our newsletter, you'll find the link to a folder. The past indexes will be either as a spreadsheet or a PDF. You can download either of the two. If you want it as an Excel spreadsheet, then that's fine, or you want it as a PDF. I was trying to figure out how to do PDFs and make it from a spreadsheet, and I just didn't do a very good job, and Ellen does it perfectly. She's just a wonderful person. She understands how to do these things, which is great. And so I'm going to talk to Ellen this week and see if she'll keep it updated, because she does a much better job than I do. So anyway, thank you so much, Ellen, for doing that. Now, and just before we start with Bob's segment, I want you to pay attention to this because this is important. I want to thank Gail Brown, I want to thank Bob Gostisha, and I want to thank Hewie Poplock for buying us coffee this week. All right. Now we're going to talk about that later on, and I'm just going to, you guys think about that for a minute, but I want to thank those three people for buying us coffee. All right, Bob, are you ready to roll?
Certainly.
Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending May 7th, 2021. Can the airline industry recover? According to the International Air Transport Association, two major obstacles hindering the recovery of the airline industry are phony COVID-19 certificates and the high cost of testing. IATA Director General Willie Walsh urged all governments this week to pay for their citizens' COVID-19 testing and use the official IATA electronic travel pass to both reduce the risk of fraudulent documents and to prevent intolerable delays at the airport. The IATA also warned that consumers will be hesitant to travel if the cost of testing has to be added to both sides of the trip. On average, that could raise the total travel cost by around $200. Citizens should not have to bear that expense, Walsh maintained. The best solution is for the cost to be borne by the governments, as is their responsibility under WHO guidelines, he said. My question is, does Walsh not realize that a government expense is ultimately paid for by the country's citizens? If we need a passport for this, what will come next? I guess I'll be driving for a while longer. For more on this story, see airline ratings. Facebook bans Signal ads that display IG data collection. To show users just how much of their data is collected and used for targeted ads, privacy-forwarded messaging apps Signal created a data transparent ad to run in Instagram, which tells the user exactly what Facebook shares with advertisers. The banned ads informed users they were targeted, then provided reasons such as, "You got this ad because you're a K-pop loving chemical engineer. This ad used your location to see you're in Berlin. And you have a new baby and just moved. And you're really feeling those pregnancy exercises lately." Very quickly, Facebook blocked the ads from appearing. Facebook is more than willing to sell visibility into people's lives unless it's to tell people about how their data is being used. Signal wrote in their blog post on the topic, "It's beginning to sound more and more like a viable alternative to Facebook is needed, a platform that concentrates on its users' privacy, not their marketability." Apple provides new tracking controls in iOS 14.5. Users upgrading their iPhones to iOS 14.5 will find that the previous ad tracking settings called Limit Ad Tracking has been replaced with a new one called Allow Apps to Request to Track. The new settings pertains to a new set of privacy protections that are Apple's strongest yet, whereas Limit Ad Tracking prevented apps from using Apple's unique device identifier to profile your behavior. Allow Apps to Request to Track does the same, in addition to prohibiting apps from using third-party tracking tools that could achieve the same goal. Disabling Allow Apps to Request to Track will also prevent the incessant pop-ups from apps requesting to access one's data. For more, see Fast Company. New Spectre attack exploits micro-ops. Researchers at the University of Virginia published an academic paper wherein they claim to have discovered a new transient execution variant of Spectre, an attack that uses the physical architecture of an Intel microchip to compromise a system. Intel has been working on mitigating Spectre vulnerabilities since 2018, when it was first discovered. The new vulnerability takes advantage of micro-ops caches, which are collections of simplified commands derived from complicated ones. Intel denied that the micro-ops threat poses a new danger, issuing a statement that concluded with, "No new mitigations or guidance are needed." For more, check out the article on Ars Technica. Hundreds of millions of Dell computers at risk. Sentinel Labs has discovered 5 high-severity flaws in Dell's firmware update driver, impacting Dell desktop, laptops, notebooks, and tablets. Attackers may exploit these vulnerabilities to locally escalate to kernel mode privileges. Since 2009, Dell has released hundreds of millions of Windows devices worldwide which contain the vulnerable driver. Sentinel Labs findings were proactively reported to Dell on December 1st, 2020, and are tracked as CVE 2021-21551, marked with CVSS score of 8.8. Dell has released a security update to its customers to address this vulnerability. At this time, Sentinel-1 has not discovered evidence of in-the-wild abuse. If you use a Dell computer, download their support assistant software to patch your PC. Reach Dell at Dell.com and search for Support Assistant to download the tool. I'm happy to report that my Dell Inspiron was not affected. Trump launches from the desk of Donald J. Trump blog. Donald Trump launched a blog this week in what is apparently his deliverance on the promise to his fans of a new social network media platform after being banned from Twitter and Facebook for inciting the Capitol riot on January 5th. Trump's new blog is styled to appear like a generic version of Twitter. He is writing Twitter-length posts, and his subscribers can receive them on their phone. Trump's team promised the ability to like posts will be coming soon. In a video on the blog, Trump called his new platform a place to speak freely and safely, straight from the desk of Donald J. Trump. For more, see The Verge. By the way, I also have a blog in case you're interested. Peloton apologizes, agrees to a treadmill recall. Peloton today announced that it will be cooperating with the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, agreeing to 2 voluntary treadmill recalls for the Tread Plus and Tread versions of its home treadmill system. Those who have purchased the system can contact the Connected Fitness company for a refund. The company has also agreed to stop selling and distributing both models in the U.S. Last month, CEO John Foley said the company was troubled by the CPSC's decision to go public with its findings, calling them inaccurate and misleading. Today's news finds the executives offering a much more contrite statement. The decision to recall both products was the right thing to do for Peloton members and their families, Foley said. I want to be clear, Peloton made a mistake in our initial response to the Consumer Product Safety Commission's request that we recall the Tread Plus. We should have engaged more productively with them from the outset. For that, I apologize. Today's announcement reflects our recognition that by working closely with the CPSC, we can increase safety awareness for our members. Consumers will have until November 6th, 2022 for a full refund. After that, the company will only issue an undetermined partial refund. If you own a Peloton, get your request in for that refund. The ultimate guide to identity theft. Identity theft is a serious crime that affects millions of people every year, often more than once. The ultimate guide will help you define identity theft, teach you everything you need to know to avoid it, and show you how a strong privacy tool can protect you against data theft right now. You'll find the guide at the website listed. It's a very comprehensive guide. They do push their BreachGuard product, but the knowledge passed along is sound and very comprehensive and can help you avoid identity theft. And that wraps up this week's edition of the Avast Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Well, thanks, Bob. That was that was great. Perfectly timed at 10 minutes. How did you do that? Did you have the bad guys sort of all just all timed, or what? How did you do that? 10 minutes was perfect.
I got lucky.
Yeah. Bob, would you post that link to the Avast guide in the chat box?
I can do that.
Thank you.
All right. We are going to miss Dewey's segment. He will have that for next week. We're going to move on to something that's really important that I want everyone to watch. You'll be seeing a lot about this as we move forward. So please have a look at this. We'll probably talk a lot about that in the chat today, but let's have a look and see what we have for you. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. Now, you know the routine. If you like this video, please click the like. And if you wish to see more of these, please subscribe to our channel. Oops. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. If you like this video, please buy us a cup of coffee. Oof, that's different. Did I say something wrong? So I want you to just take a minute and I want to show you a brief promo video that will be coming out for Tech for Seniors this week. So have a look at this and I'll see you at the end of this little video, okay? We'll talk more. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. You know, Tech for Senior is a group of hardworking people who have this year produced over 200 videos that have been viewed by over 140,000 people on 3 different continents. With 9,000 hours of watch time, our volunteers continue to help seniors navigate the ever-changing digital technology. We certainly don't lack enthusiasm, but we do need is your help with our finances. If you have subscribed to our newsletter, watched a video, participated in our 2 live shows a week, or come to our monthly Learning Chromebook session, please consider buying us a cup of coffee. It would sure help with our finances. Thanks so much. You know, it was over a year and a half ago when Hewie and I got together and thought about Tech for Seniors. It was just a concept in our minds. Who knew that a year and a half later, not only would we have such a successful season, but we were already in year 2, planning year 3. Who would have thought? 5 guys, 1 from Florida, 1 from New Mexico, 1 from Arizona, 1 from Minnesota, and 1 from British Columbia, Canada. We were able to get together to produce a high quality show like we do. So yes, we are here for the long term, and we have some very exciting things planned in the upcoming days. I want to thank those of you who contacted me personally and said, Ron, look, this is a big project. You know, obviously there's some expenses. And we had offers of donation this year. In fact, someone who wanted to remain confidential said to me, wrote me a letter actually and said, Ron, whatever you need, I'll just write you a check for it. We really weren't in a position at that time to look at our finance and say, what is the cost of this and how much is it going to, what are the ongoing costs? And this is now being done, and Hewie and I have spent a lot of time thinking about the business model of how we're going to make this go forward to cover our costs. And the costs this year, which are mostly all licensing fees, are set at about $800. The service that we chose was a company called Ko-fi, K-O-F-I. This is being used by around 500,000 people to distribute $3 million a month to creators throughout the world. It is used commonly on YouTube, so you might have seen it before. At our level, we're using it as it is a free service, so there is no cost, and it is very secure. When you make a donation, whether it be your PayPal account or credit card service, the transactions occur through PayPal, which of course is the internet banking system. None of the information is stored with Ko-fi or with us. It is simply a financial transaction that occurs through PayPal. So nothing is changing. We just need a little bit of money to continue on with what we're doing. So this is a lighthearted way of saying, hey, can you help? So when I say, can you buy us a cup of coffee? That's what I mean. So each week when we do the opening segment, I'm going to thank you for buying us a cup of coffee and helping us with our finances. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. All right. Ray, are you ready to roll?
Listening to music in your car. So this question has come up quite a bit, and some of you may have seen this presentation I did earlier in the year for APCUG, a virtual technology conference. This one is an abbreviated version of that, and I actually have replaced all the videos. So why do we need to worry about, well, let's say how far we've come from the AM radio. Remember when you had an AM radio with station push buttons? And you thought, wow, I am cool. Well, music in the car has evolved. Yes, the AM radio started it all. And then we had the one that's just shown with that little photograph of station push buttons. FM was added probably in the very early 60s as a new band. The 8-track player came along. Then the cassette player came along. And then, of course, the CD player and ones that allowed multiple discs. We had satellite reception, a wired connection, a flash drive connection, and more recently, Bluetooth connectivity. So this has really, music in the car has evolved. And I would guess many people, most of the music they listen to is in their car. But it's like deja vu all over again. Yogi Berra. That, of course, is the quote from that famed New York Yankees catcher, one of my idols when I was growing up in the Bronx. And but let's think about it. We can recall when the 8-track tape player disappeared from cars and the cassette player disappeared from cars. So this really is nothing new. Even in my 2018 model vehicle, they no longer offer the simple audio cord connection. They're expecting everybody to use Bluetooth or some other more modern way. Now, why don't the new cars have CD players? At least 2 people approached me in my APCUG role and said, Ray, I bought a new car and it doesn't have a CD player. Well, it's new technology. CD players in cars have been around for more than 25 years. You have to have the physical media with you. The compact disc itself, usually the jewel case, that's not required anymore with newer technology. And music CD sales have been declining, not recently, but for the last 15 plus years. Younger listeners are opting for newer methods to hear their favorite artists and tunes. And so the auto manufacturers, they've gotten smart. While they're providing newer technology, they feel they can eliminate the expense of a CD player, which today has limited appeal. Now, we as consumers have to decide how we want to proceed. And there's going to be a few options here. Option 1 is to convert, or as the term is used, rip the songs from your existing compact disc collection to MP3 files that you would save on your computer. And then once they're on the computer, they can easily be copied to devices that will allow you to play the music in your car. Option 2, you may say, hey, I don't want to go through all that trouble. In that case, you want to choose a streaming service and play the music in your car from your smartphone via Bluetooth or a wired connection. And is there an option 3? Well, there is. You can use both options. That's what I've done. So when you want to use option 1, convert the existing music files on your CDs to MP3s, there's several CD ripping programs that allow you to do that. And you can download these for Windows computers. Despite its age, believe it or not, my choice continues to be Windows Media Player version 12. It's simple to use, easy to use, and it comes preloaded in Windows 10. Apple users, and as well as Windows users for that matter, still have iTunes, even though it's been officially retired. Now, one of the issues many people with laptops face is the newer laptops don't or no longer have optical drives. In order to make them as thin as they do, they cannot have an optical drive. Well, here's what you can do, though. There's these inexpensive portable units that plug into a USB connection. They're readily available, and they're not, as I said, not that expensive. And this will allow you then to do the ripping of the CDs. So there's many YouTube videos that provide the visual instruction and narration to help you understand the process of ripping a music compact disc to your computer. Just type the words in the search box, rip CD Windows Media Player, and there'll be you'll find many choices. But if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a video must be worth a lot more. So let me give you my video. This is going to be ripping a CD using Windows Media Player. Okay, folks, I've opened up the Windows Media Player that's on Windows 10. I've inserted the CD called Evolution by John Carpino, and it's recognized it, comes up, and it shows the names of the tracks or songs, the time involved. All the contributing artists is John Carpino. Here's a CD album that came out in the year 2004. So I'm going to want to rip this to my computer now. So all of these songs are copied to the computer. But before I do that, I need to make some changes in my settings. So over here is the rip settings. I'm going to click on the drop down arrow. And there's a few things I want to look at. The first one is format. And as I hover over that, several choices open up. Now, the first four are all Windows Media type audio formats, and they're okay, but we're not going to use any of those, so we can disregard those. And the last three all have the word lossless as part of their title, and that really means that it's a high-end audio that's not compressed at all. Wave, as an example, that one choice there is typically what the format that's used on professionally made compact discs. We're going to choose, though, the one in the middle, MP3. That, while it is a compressed format, it's definitely the most versatile and will work in almost every kind of device. So that's what we want to record these and copy these and rip these as MP3s. The next category is audio quality. And this has to do with not only the quality of the sound, but the size of the file. And if you record this at a low kilobytes per second, say 128, that won't take up much room, but the quality won't be as good as if you do it, say, at 320 kilobytes per second, or in this case, the best quality. And I always opt for that, since we're ready making this into an MP3, which is a compressed sound. Let's give it at least the very best possible quality in that regard. If I go down this list, there's a category called Rip CD automatically, and this could have a check mark next to it. I leave it unchecked. The concept here is sometimes I want to put a CD in my computer and just play it. I don't want to rip it automatically, so I leave that unchecked. The only time I might check it is if, let's say, I had a dozen CDs to do one after the other. I might keep it checked there because that makes the process move a little bit quicker. And then the next category is eject CD after ripping. And I might normally put a check mark after that so I can have a visual as to when the process is done by seeing the CD ejected from the computer. But today I'm going to actually uncheck that. I don't want it to eject when we're done with this particular process. So I have all the settings made. I'm now going to click on the words over here, rip CD. And as soon as I click rip CD, it changes to stop rip, because if I wanted to, I could now use that same button for that purpose. But if I look over here, I'll see that all of these songs are pending, and the very first one, it has started the ripping process. So this goes pretty quick. It's already at 30%, and I'm going to let this flow and just let the first song completely rip, and then you'll see it automatically go to the next song. But then I'll pause it and let it finish, so we don't have to actually sit through and watch this whole process. There it is. That's how quickly that first song, 3 minutes and 47 seconds, but it was done in probably about 25 seconds, and it's been ripped to the library. It's automatically started on the second one. So at this point in time, I'm going to go over and I'm going to pause the video and come back when this is all done. Okay, the ripping has completed. All of the tracks say they've been ripped to the library. What does that mean? They've been ripped to the library. Well, with Windows, you have what I call a library, or what they call a library. Some people call it a folder entitled music. And that's automatically where the copies of the songs go. So if I open up the File Explorer and I go into this PC and I click on the music, lo and behold, there's a folder that was already created with the name of the artist, John Carpino. And if I double click on that, it's the name of the album. And if I double click on that, it shows the 10 tracks. Very nice. So I'm going to actually copy this to a flash drive. So with this window open, I'm going to go to File and say Open, or click on Open New Window. And it opens up an exact copy of the window I was using. I'm going to move that over here to the right. But now on this side, I don't want this to appear the same. I want to actually find the flash drive that I've inserted in my computer. So here, if I go down, I can click on the flash drive. Now I already have a folder called John Carpino because I have actually 3 CDs by him, and I've already copied or ripped the other 2 over to this particular flash drive. So I have his albums Come So Far and Like As We Know It. But now I want to add the Evolution that I just ripped. So it's very simple, drag and drop. So I click on Evolution, I drag it over to the flash drive, the folder for John Carpino, and I let go. And now it'll copy over the tracks. It says copying 11, and I believe there was just 10 tracks. Sometimes there's album art or something like that that gets added, and it might show 1 extra item, but it should just be the 10 tracks that we ripped before from the actual CD itself. So you can see this again is a quick process, takes just a matter of seconds. And then the Evolution album is here. If I double click on Evolution, yep, there's the 10 tracks that we had. So they can play on this computer, but what we're going to do is see how this flash drive plays in the car. So let's go do that now, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back in the car, and now we're going to take the flash drive that I brought with me and put it into the USB connector slot. I have 2 in this car. Doesn't really matter which one I use. I put it in one of them, and then I close the console. Now my audio is off, so I'm going to turn my audio on. And I'm going to go to the home key and then audio, and it's already started playing. So I got the volume control here. Now it's not picked out the correct album art, which makes sense. And for some reason, John Carpino's name is coming out ARPIN. I don't know. That's not important now. The purpose is to show you how this works. So as I said, I can use the controls here on the screen to either advance to the next song or go backwards. Now it's showing a total of 37 songs because I've actually downloaded on this flash drive the 3 CDs that I own. I'm going to now also show you how we can make these changes on the steering wheel. Here is, I can go to the next track just by using the controls on the steering wheel. I'll go back, and the same thing works for volume. And one of the nicest features is when you can actually choose a song based on the verbally asking for it. Play track, I Can't Get Arrested in This Town. And all by itself, just like that, up comes that song and starts to play. So think about as you're driving and you don't want to have to be touching the screen or anything, you can just speak what you want and the system will respond. And then if you're driving with a passenger who wants to see what other songs might be available, the passenger can tap the browse button, and then here list all the songs we have in alphabetical order. And so when you get to one you like, the passenger can do, okay, let me hear this song. So lots of nice features by using a flash drive in the car. Okay, so now we want to talk about playing the ripped songs in the car. We've just seen how the flash drive works for the cars equipped with the USB connector, either 1 or 2 of them. Now this is not really something new. I had a car from 2008 that actually had a flash drive, a USB connector or a flash drive connector. So they've been around for more than 12 years. And as I said in that video, the ability to verbally request the songs and artists, to me, is the best feature, because this allows hands-free usage, thus improving safe driving. And it's very much easier to carry several flash drives than several CD discs. Now, let's go a little bit further in talking about playing song files from a smartphone. And now smartphones with songs saved on external storage. So the Android smartphones allow, many of them do, for the use of a micro SD card to be added. Believe it or not, they can hold as much as 1 terabyte of music. I don't recommend that because most of the systems that read that don't have the ability to really index that much music. How much is that much music that could fit on a 1 terabyte SD card, micro SD card? Well, assuming an average song is 5 megabytes, a 1 terabyte micro SD card could fit approximately 200,000 of your favorite songs. That's over 17,000 hours of music, and that translates to just under 2 years of playing time. No time to sleep, just listening to music for 2 years. So if you're going to copy songs to the micro SD card, I always recommend do it while you can have it directly connected to your computer using an adapter. Since if using a cable connected to the smartphone, that's a much slower process. Now, iPhones do not allow the use of micro SD cards for additional storage. So if music you want to save on your iPhone, you're going to have to use the internal storage. And that might be taking up space that could be needed for other apps and system programs. So in this situation, those committed to the Apple ecosystem, the long-running iPod Touch is still around. Believe it or not, that was updated as recently as 2019, and it's an excellent choice to use for a music playing device. And then just the regular old MP3 players, they were very popular before this feature started appearing in smartphones, but they're still available to use, and they would work in a situation like this as well. So now we have to get the sound from your device to the car's speakers. And there's a few ways it can be done. The first way I'm going to talk about is Bluetooth. And that allows you to pair your device with the car's stereo head unit to play the music wirelessly. Now, pairing procedures differ among all the different car manufacturers. So I would just recommend you check YouTube videos to find the one that works with your phone and your car. And if you can't, then this is where your car dealer can help in this regard. The next time you bring it in for service, have them show you what to do. And I'll talk a little bit more about the audio jack cable. And then I'll also talk a little bit more about what's called an FM transmitter. But right now, let's look at Bluetooth from your phone to your car speakers.
Okay, we're back in the car, and this time it's going to be a demonstration of how the Bluetooth works when your phone is paired with the head unit in the car. And I've already done that with this phone. And this particular system is called Sync 3, actually allows for the pairing of several phones. So you could have your spouse's phone, you could have your kid's phone, and depending who wants to play the music on a particular drive, we can easily change to whose phone is going to be paired. So now in this case, I have brought up on my Musical.ly app the song by John Carpino called Get This Thing Right, and it's from the Evolution LP, and I'm going to use the button on the screen here to play it. Let me turn up the volume a little bit. So it's coming out, and that's nice, sounding good. But now, imagine I'm driving. I don't want to actually take my hands off the steering wheel. So I can just go to the controls on the steering wheel, and I can change the volume this way, either up or down. And likewise, if I want to go to the next track, it's just click on the seek button, and there's the next track. So again, safe driving, my hands really aren't coming off the steering wheel, and yet I'm controlling what I want to hear out of the car's speakers via Bluetooth from my phone.
All right, now we also have option 2 that I mentioned before, and that's where you say, look, I'm not going to bother with ripping of the CDs. I'm going to just go with a streaming service. And most streaming services that we talked about in the past provide 2 choices. There's a free service. You tell them the genre you like, but the service plays the songs they want. Or choice 2, and to me is the better choice. For about $10 a month, you can choose the songs and artists you want to hear. And the leaders in this field are Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music, and Amazon Prime. And for those of you who are already paying for Amazon Prime, this is an included benefit. and could provide just what you're looking for. Now, there is another service Amazon offers that does cost some money, and that's called Amazon Music Unlimited, and that has many, many more song choices. So let's see about using streaming service in your car.
All right, we're going to now use a streaming service. So I have Amazon Prime on my phone. Amazon Prime is free. Temporarily, I've also started a trial version of Amazon Music Unlimited, and that gives you many, many more song choices. So I'm going to tap on my Amazon Music on the phone. Comes up and it looks for the search history. I have John Carpino's name in already, so I'm going to keep it there and tap on that. And on the phone now, it's coming up with several results, and it has John Carpino as the artist. So I'll tap him, his name, and then it's showing the different albums that he has. Some of these I own, but some of them I don't. So if I go to this one here as an example and tap on it, it's going to show me all the different songs he's done. And I'm going to play the first one. I just tap on it. And now, even though it's playing on my phone through Bluetooth, it's coming out through the car speakers. And just like we did before, I can control the volume on the steering wheel. And I can also go to the next track on the phone, the next track on the phone, or come back. So again, all the things that you'd like to do and hear the music from your phone when it's connected via Bluetooth and you have a streaming service, you can hear all the different songs coming out of the head unit in your car. Okay, now we're in a car that does not have Bluetooth, but we still want to be able to utilize our cell phone as an example with the music we have on it to play in the car. So in this case, I use a wired connection. So normally most phones have a speaker jack. Instead of using the plug for headphones, I'm using it to connect it to the auxiliary input jack in this particular car. And I have a little holder here, and I'll talk about that in a second, that puts the phone right within easy reach of my hand as I'm driving. So I have it all connected, and I have my music Olay system set up. I want to hear a particular song, Hey Memphis by John Carpino. I just press the play button. And now again, it's coming out of the car speakers. Control it with the volume control here like I normally would. But I have all my music with me on my phone connected to the car, even without Bluetooth. Now what I've done is also I use this little bit of a holder here, and I'll just take this off for a second. This just clips right into, just hangs right on the CD insert spot. So that way, but it won't move, and I like it because it's within easy reach. Some cars have more vents, and you can use clips like that too, but for this particular vehicle, I think this worked out the best. Put this back, lock it in a little bit, and we're ready to go.
Liked what you heard? Then support this marvelous singer-songwriter by bringing home his music. Available on his website, johncarpino.com.
Okay, and last but not least, how about cars that don't even have an audio input plug or Bluetooth? Well, there's always a solution. It's called an FM transmitter, and it plugs into the DC power slot, or we used to call it the cigarette lighter. And then you can attach an audio cable between that external speaker jack of the transmitter and the device that you're going to be playing. Maybe you're going to have a cell phone, or maybe you want to put a portable CD player in your car and connect it that way. Now, this FM transmitter that I have myself actually will also accept a USB connection and a SD card, so you can have your music stored that way. And then what you do is you configure the FM transmitter to send its audio sound signal to a not in use FM radio station, and then listen to your music on that station on your car's FM radio. So bottom line, music formats will continue to change. one certainty with technology, that it's always evolving. We all need to evolve with it, otherwise get left behind. So thank you very much, and let me close this out, and I will stop sharing.
Ray, that was really well done. Thank you so much. That is, wow, what a presentation. Really well done.
Glad you appreciated it. You know, music is an important part of my life, and I'm always happy to share that with everybody else.
I really like your new computer. Did you want to talk about those two CDs in the question and answer?
Oh, well, I can talk about them. I was going to talk about them after I show my music outro.
Okay, great. Ray or Hewie, are you ready to roll?
I am.
The Starlink report. The Starlink report.
This is the Starlink report for May 10th, 2021. I'm Hewie Poplock. On Sunday, May 9th at 2:42 a.m., the Falcon 9 launched 60 Starlink satellites from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. After the stage separation, Falcon 9's first stage returned to Earth and landed on the Just Read the Instructions drone ship. This was the first Falcon 9 first stage booster to complete a 10th launch and landing. The first stage booster previously supported Crew Dragon's first demonstration mission to the International Space Station, the RadarSat Constellation mission, XMM-7 and now 7 Starlink missions. The successful liftoff marked the second time SpaceX launched one of its 229-foot tall Workhorse Falcon rockets within the same week, each carrying a full stack of its 60 flat-paneled Starlink broadband satellites. The launch, the third in less than 2 weeks for SpaceX, brings the total number of Starlink satellites in orbit to more than 1,550. The company is gradually expanding its beta test program for the broadband internet service as the constellation grows. SpaceX noted on the launch webcast that it opened up that beta test program in the last 2 weeks to people in Austria and France. This goes beyond the company's initial quota, which means we should see an official commercial rollout of the Starlink internet service sometime this year. Scheduled Starlink missions, we've completed May 4th and May 9th. There'll be another one on May 15th that's scheduled, and another one later in the month of May. SpaceX has long identified 10 flights as a goal for Falcon 9 reuse in order to justify the significant investment in the company that the company made into reusability. In recent months, though, the company executives have suggested that the booster can fly more than 10 times. According to company officials, more than 500,000 users have signed up for the growing service so far. The Federal Communication Commission approved SpaceX's request to modify its Starlink constellation. The modification will move 2,814 satellites originally approved for launch in orbits of 680 to 800 miles to orbits of 335 to 354 miles, similar to the 341-mile orbits used by the existing Starlink satellites. On another note, Elon Musk hosted the Saturday Night Live on Saturday, May 8th, 2021. He showed a combination of humility and hubris as he opened his highly anticipated hosting gig. The 49-year-old Tesla CEO, SpaceX founder, and one of the world's richest men opened his monologue by mocking his monotonal speaking style, saying no one can tell when he's joking. "It's great to be hosting Saturday Night Live, and I really mean it," said Musk, standing on the stage in a black suit with a black t-shirt. "Sometimes after I say something, I have to say that I meant it." He added in explanation that he's the first person with Asperger's syndrome to host the show, or at least the first person to admit it, he said. Here he is with his mother. It was a Mother's Day celebration. The cast had all of their mothers, and so his Elon Musk's mother appeared with him as well. Musk also joked about his Twitter account, which has more than 50 million followers, and the tweets that led some critics to object to his being invited to host the show. Look, I know I sometimes say or post strange things, but that's just how my brain works, he said. Then Musk added a boast that got his biggest laugh of the night and an applause break from the studio audience. To anyone who's been offended, I just want to say I reinvented electric cars and I'm sending people to Mars in a rocket ship, Musk said. Did you think I was also going to be a chill, normal dude? Here are some of the characters he played on the Saturday Night Live program. And this has been
The Starlink Report.
There we go.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. You know, Ray, you're back again.
I can't get rid of me.
Yeah, okay, you got the whole show today.
All right, let's try this again.
Yeah.
Screen. Oops. Just close this out. So it's all right. Here we go.
Are we still streaming?
Oh, yes, good point. Good point. Thanks. I should.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, go ahead.
I'm sleeping again at the switch. For those of you over on our streaming service, I'd like to thank you for coming, and we will see you the same time, the same place 1 week from now. And we'll be stopping the live stream right now. Just give me a sec. There you go. And it should be stopped in just a second. Bob, thanks a lot. Keeping me on my toes here. I think it's stopped now, Ray.
Okay, I'll start it then. So those of you who watched my little presentation a few minutes ago noticed I played only the songs of John Carpino. John is a personal friend of mine, and he's of course given permission for us to use all of his songs, so we don't have to worry about all this nasty copyright stuff we get. And it gave me the thought, you know what, let me tell you about local talent. So much of the music world is devoted to the superstars, the household names most of us know, or maybe we don't know them. But in every community across America, there's superb talent that pretty much only the locals know about. And for where I live in the Arizona Rim Country, that would be singer and songwriter John Carpino. So if you look at his website, johncarpino.com, it'll tell you he was born and raised in Weston, Montana. He moved to Colorado at the age of 18, where he began performing in clubs and coffee houses. And during this time, he also studied at Fort Lewis College in Durango. He earned a bachelor's degree in music. Now, his early songwriting influences are some of my all-time favorites, include Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Sometimes Young, Jackson Browne, Bob Dylan, and of course, Lennon and McCartney. I first met John when I moved to this area in 2004. I was attending a festival, and in the distance, I heard this fantastic voice singing, again, one of my all-time favorite songs, American Pie. And I've been a fan ever since. Yearly, the local newspaper here has a contest for the best of in so many categories. Listen, John has been voted best entertainer by the locals here for 14 consecutive years. So many years ago, when my two granddaughters were young, the three of us visited my favorite place on the planet, and that would be Grand Canyon. And on this trip, we took the Grand Canyon Railway from Williams to the South Rim. Now, in addition to scenic views, the ride provided entertainment as well, with a staged train robbery and musical entertainment. Now, if you were to take that trip today, there's a good chance you will hear John strumming his guitar in your rail car on this wonderful and incredibly special ride. And if you see John, please say hello and tell him you heard about him on Tech for Seniors. All right, so let me just close this.
Very good.
thank you everyone for giving me a little
Yeah.
bit of patience there. But really wanted to show that John is a good friend, and I wanted them to get the publicity. So
Where's everyone on the train? There was nobody on the train.
It's a trip I'm waiting to do this summer.
I've done this trip. It's wonderful.
Did you
Yeah,
want to talk about those 2 CDs now, Ray?
give me one. Yeah. Still trying to stop the, okay. So my email address, everybody can hear me now?
Yep.
Ray at paysoncomputer.club. Ray at PAYSON computer.club. John has given me 2 CDs. So the first 2 emails I get requesting one of the CDs from John, giving your name and address, and I will send it off to you. And at the same time, I'd like you to give me the name of an artist that you like, that you'd like to see me focus on in the future. So again, the email goes to Ray at paysoncomputer.club.
So the first 2 people that get that email out will get a free CD, which is great. Listen, I want to thank everyone for coming today. It's a little past top of the hour, so we'll have some questions and answers. Thanks so much for coming. We will see everyone back same time, same place. The coffee is coming in already, which is thank you so much. Thank you for those of you who are helping out. We will again. We'll see everyone on. If you want to. If you want to listen to us on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock Pacific time, Jim Gould will be on the show with us. How you find it, many of you are, it's not a Zoom meeting, so you don't need a link or you don't need any registration. If you go to our website, you'll see the link to our YouTube channel is there. Detler, of course, checked this out for me, and he was really good. And we talked this week, and he said, yeah, they're all working this time. So we've got it all sort of working for you. And you just have to go to the site, just go to our YouTube site or our Facebook site, and you'll see the link right there to participate in the show. We're going to open it up now for question and answers. We will open it up, and now again we have, what have we got? We've got what, about 80 people in the room still. If you could, which is a lot of different screens. So again, if you could, if you go to the bottom, you'll see in reactions, you'll see raise your hand, and if you could raise your hand, then that means it pulls you up to the front screen and we can see you, right? And that's how we can acknowledge you and ask you to unmute. So if we have any questions now, if you could possibly Hewie's got a question. My gosh, what the heck do you want?
Actually, it's a comment, not a question.
Okay.
But concerning what Ray was talking about, I was in the nightclub business for about 26 years, and there's a lot of local talent in any of the towns that I ran clubs, and supporting those groups, buying their albums, and so on. And of course, things have changed now. They don't have albums. They don't have CDs. Sometimes you have to go online and so on. But some of the groups in the day when I was running these clubs, some of them almost made it. And it was a lot of fun listening to them and just saying, I know those guys. So supporting the local talent is important.
For sure.
And that's all I have.
Very true. Thank you. Thank you, Hewie.
Ray, just wanted to let you know, I've tried a number of different mounts for my cell phone on, like, you were showing the one for the CD that you put in the CD, and the one that clips on the vent. I didn't, I bought the CD one, and I have a truck though, like a 3/4 ton truck, so it obviously rattles a lot more than your Ford, but it didn't stay in the CD, like even with it being, even with it opening up inside the CD, it would pull out eventually. It was just, I don't know, the thing was too heavy. And the other one was the clip that I tried on the air vent, never really, it would fall off occasionally. I got one and it worked great, and it's a stickum. It sticks on the dash, and it's like crazy glue. It never comes off. So that's the one I found that works the best.
Another one that people have told me works really good is the cup holder. There's one that you can actually fit it in your cup holder, and it's, so you got to look at the different choices, and I'm sure everybody will find one that works for them.
The one I don't like about the cup holder is you have to look down to see your phone, and I like to just keep my eyes on the road. So that's it. Yeah. So that's for sure.
Murray has his hand up.
Or Murray, go ahead, Murray.
Yeah, okay. I have two a comment and a question. Well, I put the question in the chat area early on, right off the bat, but I'll go to the comment first. I did put one in about the amazing local talent. The one that was really the best, and I wish somehow it got picked up and made it into a stage play. But when we lived in Pembroke in Ontario, the musical talent in that area was just incredible. And there was a friend of ours who wrote a musical. He wrote the lyrics and the words for it, and it was all performed by local talent. It was for Christmas, and it was just called Joseph the Carpenter. And the reason he wrote it was because there's in the Bible, there's almost very, very, very little said about Jesus' father, Joseph. So he decided to write a musical about him, of course, not knowing how much of it's true or anything, but it was a fantastic musical. All the songs were incredibly good. The musical talent, all the singers and musicians who performed in that were just fantastic. And unlike going to a big theater in Toronto or New York or California, I at a French exam, the guy asked me how I could stand to live in a small town that didn't have all the cultural stuff. And I told him, well, I went to Showboat in Toronto, and it was $94 each for the tickets, $20 for the parking, and I had to drive 30 miles each way in a snowstorm. Whereas in Petawawa, I went to the theater, it was $5 a ticket, and they served coffee and sandwiches before. The parking was free, and it was 5 minutes from home. So anyway, that's my comment about local talent. The question I have, and Michael Swift sort of tried to answer it, but the things he suggested didn't work for me, is I would really like to be able to at least run a live version of Linux on this Mac that I'm using, which is an old 2009 model. Part of the reason for that is that they're going to stop, Apple is going to stop sending out security updates in September for this. And I would like to, I absolutely love the display and the microphone and all that on it, but I don't really want to have a computer that doesn't get security updates. So I really, before that time, I want to make sure I can run Linux on it. And so far,
do a YouTube search, and you'll have all kinds of hands-on tutorials of exactly how to do that.
Okay, well, I've tried several of them, but I'll try some more. Thank you.
The other thing, Murray, is that you should be aware. I don't know. Do you follow APCUG? Do you know? Because of course, because John Kennedy has done a whole series of workshops on Linux, and there's another one. Ray, is it coming up? When's the Linux?
Yeah, I've even given presentations on the Linux workshops, but he hasn't dealt with that one. But I will try contacting those guys. Yeah,
good resource for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dewey, did you have? I thought I saw Dewey around. Did Dewey have his hand up?
But I don't see Dewey.
I don't know where he went. Any other questions? Do we have any questions or comments?
I do have one thing. I have a holder that goes into my CD player, but it doesn't hold any kind of a player. It holds my Miss A auto version. Right. And then it stays on there. And so I have in my car through my Bluetooth and through my Android phone, I have the Amazon device just as it is in my living room, which is a lot of fun. So I can tell it to play anything I want, or I have it play a lot of podcasts for me as I'm driving.
Ray, where do you think XM radio is going? What do you think is going to happen? Like, what is the significance of it? Is it even valid anymore?
Definitely. Sirius XM it's called now because the two satellite companies merged several years back. If you look at, here's the key. You want to negotiate with them when they raise the rate. I'm now paying something like $6 or $7 a month for the service. I'm not going to pay $15, which I think is pretty close to the going rate, and you can negotiate with them. But there might be sometimes when there's a news program I want to listen to, and I can actually pull up whether it's CNN or Fox or MSNBC. Their TV stations are on Sirius, so I can pull them up and listen to the news if I want. There's so many options. Podcasts are becoming more and more common. So no, I think that's going to be around for a while. There's just more and more choices.
I think people don't often remember that they have Amazon Prime and they have all that streaming service from Amazon Prime, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I took out of this particular presentation because I was limited to the 20 minutes, but there's Wi-Fi in the car. There's music in the car, but you can have Wi-Fi in the car, and everything from using your phone as a hotspot to having something like Verizon's MiFi and using that as a hotspot. I use the example, imagine you're taking your grandkids or your great grandkids on a long trip. They're sitting in the back seat and you don't want to hear that, "Are we almost there yet?"
Yeah.
So you set up Wi-Fi in the car, you let them plug in with their headphones into their games or a tablet, and it's peace and quiet all the way to your destination.
And Irving has a question. Irving, go ahead.
A quickie. How can I get to Ko-fi?
You don't have to get there. If you go to our website, it's right there. You'll see it. It's on the website. Just go to www.techforsenior.com and you'll see that. You'll see that it will be in all the videos that we produce, such as this today, that come out. It'll have a link on the bottom as well. So you'll see this as a branding that's on there. You'll see it. So if you just go to our website, you'll see the link there.
Thank you.
Okay.
And so remember, so if anybody, yes, and thank you. We've already had some donations as well already, and I really don't think I expect this will go very smoothly, and thank you so much. I think it's a fun way of we looked at all sorts of different models of subscription services, doing all sorts of things, but we thought this was a fun way of just being able to cover our costs, which will just be fine. And there you go.
That is good.
There you go. And you should remember that, it is very, very secure. It's a very secure transaction. So you shouldn't be worried about that. And it's used by quite a lot of people around the world. So I think you'll find it fun, and you can donate as little or as much as you want, and on the side you'll see exactly how much we've attained as to the $800 that we need to cover our expenses, and that's and that will be you'll see as the donations go on and how high we get. And we really want to keep on, and we want to expand the program. One of the things that I wanted to do, but we can't do it yet, is I want to stream this to Facebook as well as YouTube. There are a lot of advantages to streaming to Facebook, but we need to, restream. We need another software program that's $200. So it just never ends as far as licensing fees go. So anyway, that's it's all happening. I don't really worry about it. I know that it's going to go well, and I know that people will be generous. In fact, as I said, we had one individual last year who wanted to write a check for the whole thing and said, "That's it, just as a donation." So I don't worry about that. It's just, I think this is a fun way of doing it and something we can do.
By the way, which currency?
Sorry, which currency? Well, that's part of the thing. It doesn't matter because it converts. It doesn't matter. It's in US dollars. So it's, but if you have a PayPal account, it converts it all. It doesn't matter. Greg, go ahead. You had a question?
Yeah, are you going to send all the instructions in your newsletter to how we can send some money?
Yeah, you just go to our website. Yes, for sure, it'll be in the newsletter. Yeah, you can bet it'll be in the newsletter, and it's on our webpage right now, and and I put it up on our Facebook feed, so it's there now. So if you just go to our website, you'll see it.
Susan has a question.
And the other thing is my Starlink. I just clicked it on and it was 321, my download speed, and then it moved back to 268. So it's kind of working pretty good, I guess.
Yeah. What was the upload, Greg? What was the upload?
I think it was 75.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's good.
So I guess something must have happened in that Saturday Night Live thing.
Yes, Irving, you have another question, or do you still have your hand up? No, okay, great. And Murray, did you have one more question?
Yeah, I wanted to find out, one of the problems that I find lots of times with these sites like PayPal is one that is hopeless. If they want the money in US dollars, they do not know how to charge my US credit card in US dollars when I've got a Canadian address. Some websites work fine, some are terrible. For example, I used to use Macy's when I could have a Macy's credit card, but Macy's decreed that no longer could anybody outside the United States have a credit card with them. And their handling of a credit card is terrible. If I have a US credit card, they won't accept my Canadian address as the billing address. Some sites are good, but some sites are terrible. How is Kofi that way, or do you know?
Kofi's fine.
PayPal or
Kofi's
credit card. That's
Yeah.
all they use is PayPal or credit
PayPal or
card.
credit cards, and it's
Yeah, I
fine.
know, but the problem is if I pay in US dollars, I want to use my US credit card.
Not a
Sometimes,
problem.
And you
Sometimes
give them that
like-
credit card.
Yeah, Murray, not a problem. Do you remember when I said originally in the show, I said Gail Brown? That's my wife, and she used her Canadian credit card to. We tested.
no, I
this
don't
out.
use it. I don't want to use a Canadian credit card.
We have US ones too, so not a problem. In fact, you got to remember, I asked Bob to check this out before we
Okay.
started down this road.
Okay, if I have trouble, I'll let you know.
You let me know. But the three people we got to do it first was my wife, Bob, and Hewie.
Okay, but have you had somebody use it who lives in Canada use a
When you
US
try
credit
it-
card?
Yes.
I'll
When
let
you
you
try
know.
it, when you try it, Murray, let us know. Susan
I
has a
certainly will.
question.
Go ahead, Susan.
Oh, yeah, I was just wanting to buy you a coffee and I was having a hard time finding the website, but I finally got there. I ended up at Tech for Earthlings and then a blank screen, but I finally typed in the entire string.
It's
and got there.
www.techforsennior techforsenior.com. You have to put the
Yeah.
www in. That's
Yeah,
where-
I finally realized, I saw it behind you on the screen and realized I was putting in an S for seniors.
Yeah, that's a problem if you put in the S.
But even without the S, I wasn't getting there because I didn't have the www. So
www.
anyway, I'm finally there and I'll be buying you all a coffee.
Thanks
so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. So anyway, listen, it's now.
Donna has her hand up.
Okay.
Oh, I just
Donna.
wanted to say, I just paid in Canadian dollars, and it came out to $381.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, and we do appreciate it. And again, all we're asking is that we just get our expenses paid for this year, and we can have a lot of fun. So we will see everybody back again next week, same time, same place, same old group. Please come and listen to us on Thursday morning. We're going to have a lot of fun with that, and I really look forward to talking to Jim about all the technology that he uses. Wave Jim, he'll be on yeah. And then don't forget, next Monday, his wife, Chris, well, Jim will be with Chris anyway, but they're going to talk on the new changes in Google Photos because you're going to start paying, right, Jim? Paying as of June 1st.
Well, it depends.
Well,
And
don't
that's
tell
the
him. Don't
key.
tell him the answer.
That's the key.
depends.
It depends. So you
It
have to
depends.
watch in order to know.
Exactly. You watch next week and find out if what's going to happen, right, Jim?
Exactly.
Be careful. You're talking to seniors, and when you say depends, it could have consequences.
That's an absorbing discussion. Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at that. All right, you guys. We will see you again, same time next week, or same time, same place next week. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye bye.